of people see you now and they probably assume a lot of things about you. But one of the things that I love about you is that you talk about how you were a high school dropout.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all see
That's one of my favorite parts of my story.
y'all see Fawn Weaver on the cover of Forbes magazine. And this woman dropped out of high school. Tell us about that.
The end of the 10th grade was the last grade that I finished before I decided to go back to college forever later. But that was the last grade I finished. And I remember when I was in the 9th grade, I think it was the 9th grade, I'm pretty sure it was, my English teacher called my parents in and told them that she was kicking me out of English class. Now, I wasn't a student that caused a bunch of ruckus or was disruptive or anything like that. And so it was a little odd. And so she literally called my parents and said, I'm kicking your daughter out of my class because I never know what kind of day I'm going to have until your daughter walks through the door. And she said, and I will never forget it, she's sitting behind her desk. And she said, there is one teacher in this classroom and she sits behind this desk. So for that reason, I have to kick your daughter out. Here's the interesting thing, though, is that I wasn't a popular kid at all. Like, I didn't have a crew, a clique, none of that kind of stuff. But what I did do is I challenged. And so I didn't let any teacher just say, this is this and this. The whole authoritarian thing never worked for me. So I left home when I was 15 for the same reason. I needed actual explanation. I still require that to this day. I am big on gathering data. You won't really hear me give an opinion until I've gathered data from all sides. And then I will actually, if something needs to be said, I'll say it at that time. But I'm constantly challenging because I'm constantly gathering data. Well, in our society, especially with African Americans, the parenting style has been authoritarian. We got that passed to us from slavery. It's been authoritarian. And then the teaching style, the teachers, that has been authoritarian. And so then you have me come into the mix and I'm like, yeah, I don't need you to explain that. And by the way, I'm going to actually need you to have data to back up your explanation. And that challenge just bothered a lot of people, but it has served me very well in life.
It got you kicked out of English class, Fawn. And then you left home at 15.
I think I did all right.
I think you did all right, relatively okay. So then you left home at 15 because also your parents, you were basically I don't want people to be telling me what to do. I've never had an issue with people telling me what to do. I have an issue with you are giving rules and your rules don't make sense to me and you yourself can't explain them. So Keith always, my husband always jokes. He always says, you love rules. Like you live your life by a pretty strict set of rules. However, your rules make sense to you. So you ignore every rule that does not actually make sense to you. So I love rules. People say I'm a rule breaker. I really am not. I just don't pay attention to rules that don't make sense to me. So you set up this particular rule for this particular reason. I'm like, yeah, no, that don't actually work for me. That has served you well. So what happened between 15? What